What's up, world, YouTube, all that good stuff? Tune in to the first episode of The Breakdown. Where I go behind, well, not really behind the scenes, but I show y'all the process of how I made some of these beats and some of these songs that you've heard that I produced. The first one is one of my favorites. It's the remix to a song me and Max Slug did called Both Sides of the Map. Quick story behind that is Slug went to a conference, met this cat named Dwayne R.O.C. his name. He's originally out of Boston, Massachusetts. I guess he moved to the West Coast. And Slug got this beat from him. And we were sitting on it, listening to it, trying to come up with a concept for it. And I was like, well, shit, since he's from the East Coast, we over here in the West, you know what I'm saying? Let's call it Both Sides of the Map. You know what I'm saying? Like the East and West collaborating, and it actually worked. So we recorded it. And then I was like, well, man, since that's like the East, because it had like an East Coast kind of vibe to it. And us being the Funkaholics, I was like, well, that's really a little bit outside of our box. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like the beat and everything, you know, it was cool. You know, the track was dope and everything, but it just wasn't fitting the concept of where, you know, where we're coming from as far as the funk and everything. So I was like, man, let me do a West Coast remix. So just, you know, messing around. And I happened to be messing around on this baby right here. This is the Rolling Phantom X6. We're going to get into stories about that too, probably later on. But I had this beat on here. And the beat, actually, the original version that's from this keyboard is slower than the remix that you hear on the record. The tempo on this one was 89, and I think the tempo for the remix was like 100 or 101. So I sped it, or no, it might have been like 98, 99. But I sped it way up to fit the, you know, the vocals to the version. So here's what it sounded like coming off the Phantom. This is the original tempo I made it on. These are all the original sounds from the board, or, you know, the drums, everything from the Phantom before I actually turned it into the remix. Check it out. Hear that? Check this out. So this is the Rhodes. Nice little Rhodes tone with the tremolo on it. So, which is, you know, nice little. So, what's so crazy about So, you know, crazy stuff. I don't remember how to play it all the way, but, you know, I kind of get the gist. And then when you go over, I have this, you know, it's called the Digital Lead 2 that's in the Phantom. But, you know, if you know the beat and you heard it, you know what sound and what part that plays. Then, of course, the bass. I'm looking in the camera and not looking at the keys, but that's the bass line. You know, that's the bass that I use. And this sound right here, man, this sound right here is really dope because I've used this actually in a lot of beats, and I've used it as ambiance to kind of feel the track and give it a spacey kind of futuristic feel. And that's this sound right here called the strobe. So, you see how I can kind of fill up the back of the track. And this is how I used it in the track. Check this out. Then the chord change right here. So that's what I did with that. And of course, the drums and all that crazy stuff, but that's pretty much the main. And then this sound. There it is. I forgot how to play my own dang lick. You know what I'm saying? The little lead line that's in the back. You know what I'm saying? That little thing right there. And it's so funny is that I didn't even use that sound in there. And that's like one of my favorite sounds. I actually I took a jazz guitar sound and I put a wah-wah kind of effect on it. But I didn't use that sound in the beat, which is crazy. So this is it. All together. Wind up doing for the remix is this. Watch. I wind up stripping the original drums out of the Phantom and just dumping this in the Logic, right? Found the tempo, matched it up, which is probably about right here. Fantastic. This West Coast weed, it be bombastic. Just magic to get the paper though. You know what I'm saying? Now it's got that feel of the version that you hear that's out right now. So I stripped it down, reprogrammed the drums, did all the drums in Logic. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you got the version that you got right now, both sides of the map. The West Side remix. So when you see WS, that's West Side, West Coast, I just try to do something different. The WS remix, and it was made on this joint right here, man, the Roland Phantom X6. I say maybe mid 2000s, between maybe 2004, 2006. I think I got this board around 2004, 2005. And like I said, it was the centerpiece of my production because everybody else was using the Motif at the time. The Triton was on its way out because, like I said, the new workstations start coming in and these start taking the place of it. And everybody was scared of the Phantom because they said it was too hard to work. And everybody liked the Motif because it was so easy. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't want my beats to sound like everybody else's and using the same sounds that everybody was using. So I took the time to sit there and just learn it. I was working at Guitar Center at the time, so I was always around it. And my manager actually at the time was like, somebody needs to learn how to work this board because they're not selling. And I was like, well, I will, you know what I'm saying? Let me get it, you know what I'm saying? Let me spend a little bit of time with it and let me learn how to work. And I started making dope beats and started saving them and playing them in Guitar Center as, you know what I'm saying, as demos. The demos were my demos that I programmed into the Phantom to help sell the keyboards. And, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, this board means a lot to me and a lot to my sound, especially in the early 2000s. And there's some more beats that I have in here that I produced on some records that you may have heard earlier in my career. But That's the West Side remix of Both Sides of the Map by the Funkaholics, man. Me, Max Slug. So if you're on Tidal or shout out to Tidal too, man. I rocks with Tidal. That's what I'm subscribed to. Um, Apple Music. What's up, Apple Music? Spotify. I don't really do Spotify, but we ain't gonna talk about that right now. But whatever streaming platforms you get your music from, go look that up. The Funkaholics, Both Sides of the Map, Dub S Remix. It's your boy Rock Fizzle. I'm in the building, and I just broke it down for you. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.